Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, we are live with the impromptu show this morning, Mistakes and Failures While Doing Fixed Wireless. This is John Hargrove. I sometimes pose as a wizard doing rural broadband. I'm not licensed to do so, but I give it a try anyway. So, 2020, Ron Jenkins had invited me to do some work with the Moonshot Group and Electrify and Skyhelm, three of the companies that he's either founded or was a co-founder of. And we started looking at technology. And then late spring, we interviewed different vendors and decided to choose Airspan after evaluating about half a dozen vendors for fixed wireless. The technology we were looking at the time was open standards, 3GPP, LTE type radio technology. So we got to learn what an extended packet core was, an EPC, the eNode B. Had been doing RF type design work and systems in private industry, state and local governments for, at this time in 2020, for almost 40 something years. And so these were different variations, more advanced technologies, carrier type stuff for mobility that have been adapted to do fixed wireless. And so we launched with a single site in Buna, Texas, southeast Texas. 2 eNode Bs, 2 sector radios that could support up to 4 antennas, 2x2 antennas. And so we started out with that, with 4 antennas, 2 eNode Bs in late July of 2020. Started doing testing, air test, coverage testing, performance testing off the tower in early August. Installed a few beta customers, just test things out. It worked fantastic. We were delivering 50 megabits a second out to 4 and 5 miles, very lightly loaded. And so the hurricanes hit, and we had some equipment damage, and we recovered from that over the next couple of months. And by November, we had around 50 to 75 customers, and we're delivering reasonable bandwidth. I mean, anywhere from 30 to 60 megabits per second download and 2 to 10 upload. At this point, we're still pilots, so we're not charging anybody for anything. Shortly thereafter, end of December, early January, we started charging people. Some dropped, but we still had over 100 customers and started growing. System was performing pretty well. We went through quite a bit of learning curve with the vendors. They discovered that the vendors do not know how to tell you to operate, and so they don't really give you any guidance in terms of rules of thumb or just best practices. Really, you have to kind of learn that yourself, and it's very system specific. Each system seems to have its own personality and characteristics, but we quickly moved into more of a production atmosphere out of a pure pilot. We ended up with single tower, 4 eNode Bs, 4 radios, 4 Airspan 1030s. Towards the early summer, late spring, we were around 200 plus customers, 250 maybe. Added a couple of towers, started growing toward 300 and 400. And then toward the late fall, we ran into some performance problems with speed. And It was extremely difficult. It took more than a year to work through testing with the vendors and trial and error and bringing in other people. We brought in some consultants. Um, Eventually, the big takeaway from this is that there's quite a bit of tuning that you have to pay very close attention to. Um, Airspan was telling us that kind of at the edges that we needed to do some things. Being there, so there's a language barrier. The tech support department for Airspan, with all of our company being English speaking North Americans, United States people, and the entire tech support team being Colombian, um, there was a language barrier, and so that contributed to some of the disconnects. And then after we put an Ericsson site in to replace the original site and redeployed our Airspan eNode Bs to 2 additional expansion towers in summer of 2021, and we grew to close to 400 customers. By the fall, mid to late fall, we were at around 400 customers, 350, 400 customers. And we started seeing performance problems during peak hour, especially late evening to midnight. Some people they were dropping down into the 10 to 11 megabits download range, or lower in some cases. What did work very well at the edges at 4 and 5 miles did not work as well anymore. Um, we went through a whole lot of testing, a whole lot of learning. Again, the vendors were not very good at onboarding or providing wisdom from other fixed wireless operators that they were supporting, and so we just did not get a good holistic technology care package at any point. So we ended up learning about the school of hard knocks, and we got into 2022 and we're still having problems. Druid software made the platform for the extended packet core. That's who we started with and who we're still with on the LTE system, the 3 GPP system. So we worked with a company, a consultant that helped us organize and get the tuning corrected on the Ericsson system, 4408 system, and we're seeing much improved service now. We've got our downloads and uploads for the majority of our customers back in close to the range where the service level should be. It was very, very difficult to get there. I guess the mistakes and failures allowed us to learn. It just was a very, very difficult path to go down. So anybody that's starting fixed wireless, you need to find somebody who's been there, done that. Doesn't even have to be the same technology, but get somebody at least as a occasional coach to provide some perspective in his history of what they went through to help you avoid some of the harder mistakes to learn about. So anyway, that's it for today. Just some short observations. The vendors don't do very good at all on helping you get started and helping you learn the ropes. They're good at their equipment. They know what they're doing with their equipment. But as far as some of the operating nuances and tuning your system and getting the whole system going from CPE to eNode B to extended packet core out to the internet, you're kind of on your own, and so that makes it a little bit more difficult. But it certainly was worthwhile to see all the people that in these rural spaces out here that never had any unlimited, no data caps, broadband, having the ability to do that and literally change how they did things, and being able to work from home, remote school, stream, uh, Prime, Netflix, YouTube, whatever it may be. So it's certainly worthwhile. Very, very hard work, but very, very worth it. Anyway, take care out there. Have a great Tuesday, November 22nd, and have a happy Thanksgiving.